clouds inside my sleep. Sometimes if they are fake, they still dig deep. And when I follow them to the back of my mind, I find that I've gone too far this time. Too far this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I don't know what episode number this is. I always do this. I can't find it. 114. 114. If you look across the table, she's back. Miss Lili is back.
Hey.
Her brother Cristhian, Heidi joining us, and Mario, our new buddy Mario here. We're going to learn a lot about. We have been talking now for probably like 2 hours before the camera started rolling. So we're just gonna rehash most of that and see how it goes. Yeah, last time you were on, I thought we had a really fun conversation. We learned a lot about each other's cultures and about a lot of political and struggles that the Spanish and Mexican community go through, as well as your music and what drives you. And we're going to dive more into that and probably take some side tangents here and there, because I found out also that you're a professional wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So there's an IwEP Network podcast cannot go with at least 2 wrestling references. So that'll definitely happen at one point or another. So yeah, it's rolling down.
Oh, okay.
I already hear myself in my head.
Like, what the hell?
That's going to freak me out. But the live chat is open. If you are watching and you have any questions or anything you want to type, you are more than welcome to put it in there, and we'll put it up in the chat and ask away. They can also be in Spanish, because you guys have a Spanish audience. So when I put it up, I'll just have you read it, because I will butcher it.
Don't worry, we'll translate.
But we want to thank our sponsors, Abaddon Tattoo Studio, a unique professional experience nestled in the small town of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. They provide high-quality tattoos and piercings in a relaxed, professional, and sterile environment. And also we want to thank our Patreon followers. Now, Patreon took a little bit of a hit. We had a little bit of a community there, but unfortunately, times are tough and people can't do it. But we have a $1 subscription or a $5 subscription. You really don't get any bonus content anymore, because it's just really hard the way I work and do all that stuff. So it's just general support. It's like buying me a beer every month. Just, craft beers can be like $4 a can. You know what I mean? So it's either $1 or $5. It helps us grow. What we are trying to raise money for right now is I'm trying to buy another camera, because another thing I do outside of here, we kind of alluded to the professional wrestling, is I actually help a professional wrestling production team. And it would be really nice to have one more camera to kind of go around and capture footage. So I'm actually using it. I'm not making money off it, but I'm helping other people fulfill their dreams by capturing what they do as an art, so it can be seen by more people, so they have an opportunity to get seen and signed and follow their dreams. But we want to thank Tommy B for that, Tree of Life Men's Physical Shop, Pirates in Other Words Podcast, Jay, and Austin Blackwell. If you don't want to do Patreon, we do also have merch. The links are below, as well as all links for Lili and Cristhian stuff that we had from the last time are all below, so you can click that and show support. What's going on? All the housekeeping stuff out of the way. How you been?
What's up, man? Well, I've been good, thank God, everything is great. We've been active. I was just telling him earlier that we've been traveling in New Jersey or even Delaware, like New York, every weekend, like we've been doing something.
Non-stop.
And I actually, yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. I love going out and getting out of town, for the people that are from around here, Schuylkill County. There's not really much much going on. And then during the COVID period, there wasn't anything going on. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to get out. But I want to introduce you to my team, Cristhian, which was previously here. He's my manager. He's also the graphic designer and photographer. And Mario Pedrosa, he's also a co-manager and promoter as well. And he is an advocate for the DACA recipients as well. And he's really good on the political side as well.
I'm the one that gets political.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff we were talking about. It was stuff that we talked about in the previous episode, and we had a lot of people who commented, like on YouTube and a lot of places, like I didn't see it that way. Like it brought up a really good conversation, because it's not so much that I think the agenda that's put out there is a fear agenda, where people are, they're coming and they're criminals. How are they described as rapists and criminals and drug dealers? And no, that's not the case.
Well, that's only one side, and I think that's everywhere in every race, every culture.
And I would 100% agree. Most people I knew that rapists and druggies and murderers and all that were mostly white people, because I grew up in a white community.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when the media wants to fearmonger and get people in an agenda, so they kind of divide people by their race and their culture, that's the things they use. And it's not so much as a takeover. They just want to help. They want to be part of this wheel. They want to be part of this cog. They want to help the communities. It's not a hostile takeover. It's not people are here to be harmful. They just want to be treated equal, and that's a huge thing that I try to do on my platform. Is I don't care if you're gay, straight, what color you're, like what religion you are. I mean, we'll probably argue a little bit on religion, but I'll argue more about religion than I will with the color of your skin is. But because a lot of times religion divides a lot of that stuff as well. But I just want everyone to have a shot at this thing called life. We only have one shot at it, and a lot of people, you don't realize that 67 years goes by quick.
Oh yeah.
I'm 34, like I'm already halfway there.
I'm 38. I came here when I was 6 years old. And
yeah.
The culture to me was so different back then. Again, I came to a community in Perez, New Jersey, where much of the people there were Polish.
Polish, yeah.
There's a lot of that out here as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To tell you the truth, when I got here, I got to that town, I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Not that many people speak Spanish back in those days,
mm-hmm.
And like we were talking about off cameras, that there's that little black mark that's been put up on us, like you just said, that we're this, we're that. But if people actually started to see that there's people like Lili and myself and Cristhian that we were brought here when we were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old.
What was the quote you said that was really powerful?
If they can do it, we can do it too.
Oh, no, the border one.
Oh, nah, the border one.
I like that quote.
The border did not cross us.
Yeah.
We didn't cross the border crossed us.
Yeah.
Why? Because our ancestors been here for a long time. If you go back to history, you could actually see where the history starts. What was California, what was Texas, what was all the part. That was Mexico back then to a lot of generations that we could go back and forth. Even Native American communities that say the same thing. I know a couple of Native Americans that I still could keep a communication with, pen pals through school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did not know that was on the community. I didn't have any papers until I got into middle school.
Well, essentially, if you kind of look at migration and when people came over and colonized, the Mexican culture was Native American. But when the Spanish came over and settled and brought the Spanish language over, that's kind of where...
That's where they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But they did it through religion.
Yeah.
And that's how we were called mestizos.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it changed. Like Native Americans in Mexico were Aztecas, the Aztecs. And then you have the Mayans. But when they first landed, they landed in Mexico, Hernán Cortés. He wanted to convert Native American Mexicans, Aztecas, to their religion. And they used that. Through that, that's how mestizos came about.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where all that stuff with the Mexican Revolution started.
Yeah.
And then, the whole Guadalupe Cortés or whatever the guy was that messed up everything for us. I probably got the name wrong, but it messed a lot of things for us, because if none of that would have had happened, I think we'd be talking about a different history.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because we, in our culture, more or less, if it's a white background culture where my family came from Ireland, or my family came from England, or my family came from insert European culture here, and they came here and they landed here and they struggled and they went through everything and they were treated like shit. I'm just saying, Irish treated like shit. They weren't allowed to work. If they were allowed to work, they were all given shitty jobs, and then they revolted and they fought back.
Yeah.
And then we had the Maguires, and the Maguires, now they're treated like normal day people.
Yeah.
Rewind to current day times. It's exactly what we're doing in Mexican culture.
There we go again. Like, I could give you a good name. Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
Not the fighter, but Cesar Chavez, the one who actually fought for the right of farmers having the rights to work. If it wasn't for him, many of the Mexican American people who work in California will not have those rights of actually having, good insurance back in those days. Because back in those days, they didn't even have anything. You go into the field and you work. If you get sick, that's your problem.
Yep.
But if it wasn't because of him, none of that would have happened.
Yeah, the Irish in this culture, like in this town, like I know you're from Jersey, but where you're at now, like the Irish were that at one point in time, where if you were in the mines and you got sick or you got black lung or your arm got chopped off for a mine, they would literally bring your body, they would drop your body out on your front porch and say, hey, we know you have a kid, he's 9. If he's not in the mine by tomorrow by 9 o'clock, you guys get the fuck out of his house.
Just like I said, Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, those two right there, to me, they were the ones who started this whole change.
Yeah.
Those two, but we're talking about back in the days where it just started.
Yeah.
You know, it just started, but now it's a whole different generation that we're here. We're
Yeah.
here, and you know, thanks to President Obama, who actually gave us the chance to actually come out of the shadows, and that's what many people don't know. You know, yes, we were undocumented. We did not know. I did not know that. I learned.
That's so crazy.
I did not know. Straight to like once you hit middle school, you're like starting to learn your history because from first grade all the way to fourth grade, fifth grade, you're learning what's going on. Once you get into middle school, you're getting prepared. Once you hit high school, buddy, your ass is gonna be trash.
Mhm.
And then you start learning everything that's going on from there. But once they start telling you, well, you got a valid social security, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Mhm.
You know, you start to think like, what is that? And then they start telling you, you don't know. Back in those days, you did not know what a 401k was.
Mhm.
You did not know what a bank account was. You did not know what a number, a social security number was, until we started learning. I started learning all that the hard way.
About that, like your high school years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, because I had to work. One way or another, I had to help my parents out the best way I could. But again, if you didn't have a social security back in the day, how were you supposed to like work?
Yeah. What age did you start working?
13, 14. But
And you said you were even younger than that, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't like under the
Under the table, yeah.
yeah, they gave you like
Well, same
$5,
here.
$6
Yeah.
a year, do this,
Mhm.
do that. But you know, when you got out of high school, then what?
Yeah.
Then what? That's where the serious situation came into it.
I look at it like this: like if you're in a job or if you're building a team, right? We'll just like break it down, not even use jobs or political or government, right? We're building a team, and our team obviously you need workers. You need someone to let's work hard. Like I just don't see how you don't see like the Mexican culture as probably the hardest working culture in America. It's hands down, straight up, the hardest working. Like right, but I don't understand why you wouldn't want to bring them into that fold. Like when you see people like, well, oh, they do like the jobs we don't want. Well, they only do that now because they can't go and do other things. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of pigeonholed.
Yeah.
Essentially, we fought wars over slavery, and we're just legally making them slaves again.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing that you probably did not know. A lot of viewers don't know that. You just said one thing that is right. You know, fought a lot of wars. And I tell you this because I have family members that are veterans. But what happened to those veterans that were deported? What kind of respect are you giving them?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they fought for this country.
Right.
And
They're
that's
good enough to fight,
exactly
but not,
like
yeah.
you look at them and you're like, bro, you fought for this country.
And they were deported.
And they
out.
were deported. Like there was a documentary on Vice, which I've been trying to get a hold of. Like I'm trying to get a hold of Vice. And they're in Tijuana somewhere. I cannot name the town, but I did look at the video and bro, this one was like 10,000, 15,000, almost 20,000 veterans that were deported to Mexico because of the dumbest things you could think of. Again, possession of weed.
Yeah.
Now
That really that horrible thing that people smoke that's
exactly
not as bad as this liquid that I'm pouring into my
say,
cup.
there you go. You know, and you start to think, you're like, wait a minute. They fought for this country. They almost got killed.
Mhm.
They were in there so many years. And yet you had the audacity to deport them. And that's heartbreaking. And
Yeah.
that's what I
It
think
is.
a lot of white America doesn't know.
But we also take our black and white veterans and they're homeless on the street and we don't give a shit
Yeah.
about them either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's where I get political sometimes.
Mhm.
And you know, my wife tells me, yeah, shut up. No, but at the same time, if we don't stand up, nobody's gonna stand up for us.
Right.
Mhm.
Nobody.
It'll just keep happening.
Exactly. Like I see all these wars, I see all this dramas going on in this country, and I tell people, like, it's easy. Stop getting involved in business that doesn't involve you.
Yeah.
Don't go find any other wars that doesn't
Fix
involve
our
you.
own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got enough problems here in the States that you could easily fix instead of going and spending money somewhere else that doesn't belong. Get the vets out of the streets. Get them the right tools for them to be back on their feet. Don't just give them $200-300 a week. What's that gonna do? Give them something that they know that is gonna help them mentally physically and economically.
Yeah.
Fix that situation right there, and I guarantee you're gonna have a better United States.
Yeah, I mean, even just wage increase.
Oh yeah.
Most of your crime and your petty crime and your and the stuff that is the big problems, where a lot of it comes from an economical poverty. You know what I mean? Like when people are poor, they do things that they normally wouldn't do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're always fighting, if they're always fighting for, there's still some of that one. If they're always fighting for their next paycheck, that they're gonna be like, well, fuck, man, I can go punch a time clock 40 hours, or I can go and do this, which is probably not legal, but I can make a little more money
But
doing
see,
it.
I think now these generations, I think they don't want to. Is the magic word?
Yeah, they don't want.
They don't want to, because if they wanted to, they have a valid Social Security.
Mhm.
I'm not stopping you to get another job. You could go and apply, but then again, like you see my Mexican people working in the corners selling fruits. Is that illegal?
We were just out in Delaware last week, and I was driving, and when I got off the highway, at first there was this, homeless person. She was a white female, and she had up, homeless, anything you can donate would help. So I'm there like, okay. I really looked, for some extra change, and I was like, I don't have anything. All I have is my credit card. I drove by, like, not even like, I don't even know, like from a stop sign to another, like half a block later, and I see a guy selling flowers, a Hispanic guy, and I was like, yo, like I don't have money, but if I were to have to, I mean, I didn't have cash on me, but if I were to help somebody out, I would much rather give it to the guy that is selling flowers, because he's out there selling a product, not just begging for it.
He's obviously doing something.
His
Right.
mindset is he's actually giving you the value of what you think.
Right.
Like, he's trying to give back
Something.
Yeah.
rather than just being like, I have nothing, give it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not even like I don't want to be like, oh, the white lady sucked and the Spanish guy was cool. Like, no, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to paint a picture here, so we're not like, this whole thing isn't about against whitey and everybody. You know what I mean? It's because at the end of the day, man, like it regardless of, obviously color definitely puts people on a different disadvantage, but once you put that aside, it goes to your income level. And the poorer you are, the shittier you are on the spectrum. You know what I mean? But even if you are shitty on the spectrum and you're also a person of color, you get it even worse. You know what I mean?
And we go back to the same thing about being legal and illegal.
Mhm.
Like that lady, I'm pretty sure,
Was legal.
had a Social Security
Right.
card. Who knows if the guy did? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, when you don't have the same opportunity, you're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
And their way is not a bad way. They, people could be out there selling drugs or selling their bodies.
You made a good point, like off camera, and I won't elaborate exactly what the point was, but you were like, when I knew this person, I was like the whole time telling them, like, get your license, move out, do things, and the whole time they were like, well, I can't, and you're like, you have a piece of paper that can give you more opportunities than I had.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
and I told
And
her
I never put that into perspective growing up.
there
Like,
was one time when I was still in school.
You would know, especially the personal reason why I was like,
Yeah.
Tony's doing it.
yeah.
Like some
You
people
were
just
doing
take,
it.
not
Yeah.
take advantage, but just like they don't. I can't
They
think
don't
of
want to
the word.
strive to it. They don't
Yeah.
want to go and succeed in life.
Right, and they just kind of overlook that.
Yeah,
like how
Like an
easy it is
example,
for
like
us to do
I would walk
things.
into a job,
Yeah.
like, all right, so like for example, like one of your first jobs you said was picking fruit, like
Yeah.
I would go out there with my white ass skin. I'd get sunburn my first day in the job, and I'd be like, yo, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'd be like, I can get something better than this low paying job,
Exactly.
doing this horrible job in the humidity and doing all this like just really shitty job.
Yeah.
And then I could turn around and do something better. I can go work at air conditioner in the McDonald's.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But see-
with a little bit more pay.
With a little bit of and health insurance. Like if
And
that
health
if
insurance.
that hot grease,
He
if that
said
hot
health insurance.
if that hot or not even just health insurance, but if that hot grease spills and gets in my hand, because I'm working for a corporation and a thing, and I'm legal and I have this thing, and I get hurt on the job, and it's because of this job's fault, I'm now covered.
Mhm.
Where if you're out in the field and you're illegal and you don't have that thing, but you've been living here your whole life, you don't know any better, and you go out and you break your leg or something crazy happens, you're like, sucks to be you.
But see,
We're not covering
yeah.
Now here's a good point that you just brought out right now. Yes, a lot of people been here many years. myself. You know, like I said, I'm glad that the opportunity was given to me. You know, I still feel myself that I'm a dreamer, but you know, it goes further than that. You know, you just cannot say, you know, you're gonna be stuck as a dreamer.
Now he's an American citizen now.
No.
Oh, a resident,
It's
a resident.
legal
Okay,
resident.
a legal resident.
Legal resident.
When did you, and this could apply for any use table, when did you find out, like at one point, like when you realized, like, I don't have this? Like when you go somewhere.
When I was in middle school.
Did you have a conversation with your parents, like, what actually happened here? Like, when did you find out, like, I was brought here when I was younger, but I don't really
Yeah,
I don't remember the situation.
I actually did, and I remember when I was crying because I was leaving my grandparents behind. My father, he came here before because again he was brought over here through his job. So he came before us a year before, and we followed him. But I remember it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and my mom was getting us ready. My sister and I getting us ready. I'm like,
She didn't have this talk
no,
prior to that?
nah, come on, we were like 5, 6 years old, and my mom was like, "Oh, we're going on a trip." I'm like, "Oh, trip." That's all it was stuck in my head, trip. So then I started seeing airplanes, and you know, before that, my grandfather and my grandmother were like, you know, they said those magic words, you know, "Ve con Dios, go with God." Once he said those words, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute.
This ain't no field trip.
This is no field trip, dude. No." And then I started realizing where we're going. You know, when we reached the border in California, that's where it was like more of an eye opener to me that we were not in Mexico anymore. And I think it was years later in which I actually realized when it was at Christmas that my mom just sat down and she just started crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And then she started telling me like all the sacrifices that she did to bring us over here. But when I was in high school, that I started realizing the racial profiling against Mexicans, and that's when I started realizing that I was undocumented. I didn't have any papers. That's when I started realizing I'm like, wait a minute, this is deep. This is something that I can't undo. But yet I was surrounded with Puerto Ricans, whites, blacks, and you could say a few Mexicans.
Yeah, probably like one Asian. Because they're
Exactly. And
well, you're in this too high.
and that's where I started realizing that they had a lot of things that I didn't. You know, many came in with like fancy clothes. Tommy Hilfiger at that time was like popular.
Yeah.
Like,
I
oh,
remember
shit.
that.
Yo, I don't know if we talked about it on your episode, but I remember there was somebody in your crew that I forget what his name. He was a pretty boy, fucking looked good. And I remember the one time we were all hanging out, and I had my shitty Dodge Neon, and it had terrible fucking rims. It was just a shitty car. And I remember like we were all hanging out. I think we were at like a gas station. He's like, "Yo, I have this real nice car. Like, why don't you have your fucking nice car?" And the whole time, like, I remember someone saying, "Well," like making a joke, "that's because you don't have to pay taxes or something like that." Like that, the whole thing came up where he was making money, he wasn't like, and then he was having all this night, but like, and then that wasn't the case for him. But that was the immediate thing that someone said in retaliation.
Right, that wasn't the case because I was just remembering, and I think it might have been Randy.
Oh yeah, Randy.
And
yeah.
I was
He had
like,
spiky hair.
he was legal.
He was legal,
yeah.
but his family worked hard.
Right.
But he's also that's why I brought it up.
I feel like there's
Exactly.
such a.
But he's a Mexican
Yeah,
kid where him and his family are legal and they do very
They
well for
had nice
themselves.
cars.
They
Yeah.
worked their fucking
Always
ass off
had
for it because
nice
I think at the time when I learned too, like his parents were like his one dad was doing construction or something like that or something crazy, but they were making good money and that's why they were able to give him. Now you can see a white kid going on the street all day long in a fucking really nice car.
Yeah.
But and you're like, oh,
And you
daddy
don't
gave
think
it to you.
yeah.
And you see a Mexican kid, where you're like, oh, it's because you don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that
Bro,
nice thing.
I feel like there's such a stigma, or like people don't. They think it's just like, oh, you just hop over the border and you have this easy life. It's not. It's like it's not easy.
Since then have you seen your grandparents or your family?
Oh, bro. Once I was able to go back to Mexico
Without the fear that you can get back across.
How many years later?
No, I think 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Because many DACA recipients don't know that you could travel, but you have to actually file for something called advanced parole. Advanced parole works in 3 ways: humanitarian, educational, and I think the third one is work. Yeah, work.
So it can't even be just leisure.
No, bro. Because once you fill that application up, they will investigate if it's legit. If it's legit that you're going to either, let's just say, a University of Mexico, they're gonna look at the letters that the university or the college is sending you to see if it's real. They will send somebody and verify that such and such and such and such, it's real. In my case, it was humanitarian because my grandparents were sick and they couldn't travel. My mom's side, the letters, there was like 2-3 letters that they sent
So,
over here.
so you said this was 6 years ago.
Yeah,
You left when you were 6. You're now 38.
38.
So
Oh,
it
shit.
was almost
Wow.
almost like 15, 20 years
Yeah.
since you've seen your grandparents again.
Yeah.
So when they seen you, they seen a 6-year-old walk out the door, and now they're seeing a grown man
Yeah.
come back.
A lot of cases for the
Yeah.
DACA recipients.
A lot. And I'm
Sad.
telling you, like,
Yeah.
when I got there, I mean, I might get teary, I don't know. But when I got there, like, that feeling of being there, but legally coming back, you're like, damn, it actually worked. But again, many DACA recipients do not know that because, again, many of the lawyers tell them, listen, this is a shot that you might take, depending on how the administration, the government, and immigration takes it. You could get I'm sorry to say, probably gonna get a beat, but dickhead border patrol officer that might look at your case. I'm like, oh, no, this motherfucker just going over there to just like party. But when they actually go and see and all the paperwork and everything is legit, and they stamp it and they send it to you, and you get over there, bro, the first thing I hear was the taco spot.
Now, do you have the anxiety when you come back to the border?
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna
Yeah, oh, no,
are they gonna
oh,
let you
yeah.
back in?
Ask my wife. Ask my wife. Like, I'm sweating like a fucking dog. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Once I got that card, and it's funny because in Massachusetts, because I lived in Massachusetts for like 7 or 8 months when I was up there, my kid was still growing. I already had come back, but I was already married with my wife because she was an American citizen, and my daughter and my son were both American citizens. I went, I had the whole interview. I took all the paperwork that I had to take because my lawyer told me, listen, once you get that letter, take everything. Don't leave nothing behind. Take everything with you. Took everything. I left the freaking schoolboy with my freaking book bag. I had books on me. Like, my
God.
daughter was with me. So we were at the Border Patrol office in Massachusetts. White, completely white. Like, people were coming in and out. As soon as I got there, like, I started shaking. My hands were like, I'm like, shit.
You're risking your. I just want to put in perspective. Like, you're risking the fact that you're leaving your wife and children
Mhm.
to go visit your grandparents that probably don't, or they're getting older. You don't know how much time
Yeah.
someone has. It's just for the shot to say I got to meet a member of my family that I don't
Yeah.
remember that much. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
yeah.
And you're risking that to do that.
Mhm.
Are your grandparents still with us?
But this one was when after I came back. No,
Oh.
I was approved for advanced parole before,
Yeah.
but this is already to become a resident, legal resident. That I was
Oh,
going
okay.
up
I
there.
apologize.
Oh,
So when I went over there, the office, like, there was a lot of people, but there was this, you could say maybe a guy that just walked in, right? And he came back out, and like the image of his face, sad, complete sadness. Like, the guy wanted to cry. So I was literally right there. I saw that. I wanted to break down. I told my wife, listen, I don't care. I think I'm gonna leave. She's like, listen, you made it this far. I'm not gonna let you. So the border patrol officer calls her first, and I'm like, oh, damn. 10 minutes later, he comes out. Come here. I'm walking in there. She's not allowed to speak. The officer said she's not allowed to speak. I already interviewed her. Now I'm gonna interview you. So he starts telling me.
They're legit seeing if you guys are a legit couple.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm thinking now I got to take out my pictures of my wedding, my marriage certificate, everything. This guy starts asking me 3 questions: where you met her, when, and for how long. I told her, well, she met me through the group that her and that Lili and I were in.
And Christian, we used to be in
Yeah.
a cumbia group.
Yeah, we all used to be there. We came out from there.
Is that after?
No, before.
What was it? What the fuck was the group when we were in school?
After interface?
Interface.
Yeah, that was
it was
definitely after the interface.
my
That was after the
guys.
interface phase and after the ACAM
They
phase.
can get
Dude, I want an
Yeah.
Interface
Shout out
Records
to
t-shirt.
them, Shout out to
Dude, I
them.
want an Interface Records t-shirt.
We're gonna make one.
I want one. I want the
Shout out
old
to
logo.
Tim, shout out to Young
Yeah.
Arson, shout out to
Arson.
Kels.
Hell,
You know,
Remember being Thunder Road, like fucking high school
Yo,
kids,
Thunder Road,
guys
Thunder Road.
throwing
Dog,
around
Young
fucking
Thug,
music
Young
shows.
Thug, you know.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
No,
I reminisced for a second.
The thing is that something that Mario doesn't know, we know each other. Like
Yeah.
I actually graduated with his wife,
Mhm.
and we know each other from back in the day because
From
he
the
was best
beginning,
friends.
bro.
He
Yeah,
was best friends with somebody I dated.
yeah.
No,
You know.
I mean, we know each other.
I'm learning a lot about you though.
Yeah.
Since high school.
Yeah.
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 And we met him through a festival that we actually got invited to in New Jersey.
The power of music.
Yeah.
bringing people
Yeah.
together.
Music, yes.
Yeah, that-
And now, even now, look, music is what's bringing
Yeah.
us back together.
Yeah.
See,
Not only that,
And that's exactly where I was going at.
bro, thanks to music, we're touching places that we never thought we would be at, bro.
I mean, coming from the skook,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going out to California,
Yeah.
going out to
462
everywhere.
the fuck.
And I think the overall message is when someone listens to this, I want you to put aside your political beliefs. I want you to put aside what you hear on the news. I want you to listen to these stories as if you're listening to human beings.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
exactly.
at the end of the day, regardless of what your skin tone is or anything like that, like if because the next question I was going to ask you is like what your parents and your grandparents went to go visit, like what were the conditions to the point where they're like, this is not good for our kids that we're willing to risk
Well,
going
that's-
across this border
that's-
for this to happen.
That's the reason why my parents brought us away. That's the main reason, because at that time you gotta understand, we're talking about the 80s. Basically, like Mexico was the worst conditions you could think possible.
You got here in the 80s?
89.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Damn,
I
was
lived
born at
over
that
there.
time.
I lived over there.
You were being born.
where we lived at, it was poverty.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Like we lived in a brick house. We didn't have no bathroom. If you had to go to the bathroom and it was like
Outside?
1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you better go to the bathroom outside. When it was raining,
Yeah, Mexico got like snakes, scorpions. and-
that's over there like on the Sierra. That's like the
That's
rancho
like-
side, like
that's
the
like
hood. It's
the-
like here.
Up in the woods,
Yeah,
bro.
the
Like
woods,
farm,
yeah,
farms.
yeah.
Back in the farm.
I'm just saying, if I had to leave my house at 1 o'clock in the morning to go take a piss, like the worst I'm going to see is like a
No.
skunk.
You see the freaking sun, the sun come out with you.
Oh, you could even tie in your truth. What is it? Behind the truth and illusion.
Behind the illusion.
Illusion, yeah.
That, because there's so many like theories and
Oh yeah.
myths out there,
Myths,
like
yeah.
Llorona.
Yeah. We're
You
just
know,
talking about one.
and the
Yeah.
witches in the
Yeah.
woods.
Yeah.
You know,
But like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to see like maybe a skunk, a stray cat, and a,
We
and
don't
a
have
rabbit.
skunks in Mexico, bro. We don't.
That's because you got shit that eats.
We got chorrillo.
You got chupacabras.
No.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Came out of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I thought chupacabras were Mexican.
No. See,
Supposedly-
again, another one. He gets twisted.
They said supposedly.
I'm
the
white.
chupacabra-
We're like a Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo ruined that for us. They told us.
I'm
They
gonna-
lied.
I'm gonna
Big
make
lie.
a joke. I'm gonna make a joke, but it's just how white people perceive everything. You guys are anything south, like Puerto Rico, Dominican, you're all
It's
Mexican.
the same with Asia.
Yeah.
Everybody's the
Nah.
same.
Yeah, you're Asian. You're from
So
China.
weird. Yeah,
Heidi, I bet you get Mexican a lot.
I do actually.
Yeah, I hit her up with her
All the time.
day one we met. I thought she was a Spanish girl. I was like, "You Spanish? You from
Always.
Canada?" And she's like, "I'm Asian."
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
And I work in Hazelton. Everyone thinks that I'm like Hispanic. or
They
something.
start
They
speaking to
always
you in Spanish.
they do, and I'm like, I don't. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I told you the story of our first when we were in Shenandoah and the old couple was giving a shit, right? We were in Burger King.
Burger King.
We were in Burger King in Shenandoah, and me and her sitting there enjoying our date, having a good time, and this guy keeps staring at us, this old white guy and his wife, and they just keep looking at us and they're giving us the face. And I've experienced this before. I've been in interracial relationships, so I was like, oh, he's probably thinking, oh, there's a white guy and a Mexican girl with fucking bullshit, like. Because the thing is, like, oh, she's probably not legal, and she's trying to get with the white guy. So she can
Yeah,
take it.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
That's so
Right?
sad.
So,
It's
so,
terrible.
so
Oh my God.
she,
It's disgusting.
I said to her, because at the time I'm young and spry and I'm a little gangster, and I was like, I'm gonna go say some shit. She's like, I'm going to the car. I'm not. So she gets up and walks out, and I walk over to the guy, and I said, yo, what was your problem? What were you staring at? And they're like, we just don't like that interracial stuff. You're sitting there with the and they straight
They
up
were
told me.
straight up, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, well, listen, man, I hope you don't get your panties in the She's not even Mexican. She's Vietnamese. And I noticed he had his Vietnam vet. hat on.
Oh.
Yeah, so it didn't even soften the blow that she
No.
wasn't even Hispanic because he was
Right.
over there fighting
I
her
don't know
dad.
why people feel the need to like put their
Just
opinions. Like,
shut
why
the
does
fuck up.
anybody care? Like, it's not affecting you. Like,
It don't.
Okay.
Right.
It doesn't affect them at all. But I think it's the fear. Again, we go back to what we're talking about cameras.
Mhm.
The fear that they think that we
Oh,
come
like-
over here and we're gonna
Yeah.
take your job.
But like
You know what the
everyone
beautiful thing
came
is?
to America. Like everyone immigrated to America.
But see-
Unless you're Native American, you're straight from here.
See, that's what people don't realize.
Yeah.
That.
And
I
I'm
have-
sure most of them were not.
A
But
lot
they-
of
They're
but they-
undocumented.
a lot
they
They
did
didn't
it-
have that back then.
They
Just
did it
because they're
legally
born
with,
here.
with guns and
They
horses
think
and
that they were from
cannonballs.
here forever. Yeah.
Right.
They did it completely legally with the power and fire,
Yeah.
force and
But I feel
murder.
like if you think back to
It's
back in
open
that
issue.
time, like what was the process? They just
Now, see,
got off a boat.
exactly.
You're here.
But see,
Yeah. There
true,
was
to
no
them,
true.
to them, and I'll put this in quotations. I hope they see it. To them, they did it legally.
Yeah.
To
Usually.
them,
But-
they got to Ellis Island.
Yeah.
They paid 50 cents, which is a lie.
Well,
Which is a lie.
Well, they put their name in a book and they're here.
Yeah,
That's
that's exactly what
Yeah.
they did. You know where I got that from?
Yeah.
From there.
But even in that time, when that was happening, depending on where your boat set sail from,
Oh yeah.
you were legally allowed to be here, and you went and paid your due, and then you got your name in a book. But if you came from maybe the Irish
Oh,
island,
forget it.
yeah, you were
That's
like,
what I
oh,
mean,
cool, we
yeah.
have new slaves.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's just
Yeah.
crazy though.
See, and now what you just said, the process that was going through immigration, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
You
heard
know the
it's
great. You know what
super
my
hard.
my favorite part is when people file for immigration and they go through like when you have like people who are like they need to do it legally. I'm like, all right, cool.
We can't even.
So like I'm gonna bring
Like-
I'm gonna bring pro wrestling into this, right? So right now, for example, there's a tag team I'm obsessed with. They're called the Iconics, and they're two girls who came here, who worked their ass off in their country at their craft, came to America
Where
to
are they
become
from?
Australia.
Mm.
Came here. Now they're white, so we're even gonna bring them in.
Right.
But they've been fighting to get citizenship here
Oh,
for over
shit.
4 years.
It's not a
So-
quick.
Bro,
So now they-
4 years.
Yeah.
Try 10,
Yeah. So
Try
21.
18.
right, and these are people who are on TV who are making good money, who have notoriety, who have popularity. This is not just we're not talking about everyday people here. You know what I
No.
mean? They have that exposure. So even with their fame and notoriety, they now get fired from their company job. So WWE
No,
fires
that's
them,
silly.
right? They don't have to leave, but they have a time frame where they need to find work or
Or get
become
sponsored.
or get a sponsorship or
Yeah.
get legalized. And then the whole process now with COVID and everything going
Yep.
crazy to get that is your back burner now.
Yeah.
So now, like
That's
now, if they
terrible.
go, so they can't now they're under a 90-day non-compete clause from their last job. So
Mhm.
their last job will tell them you can't work
Yep.
for any other company
Oh,
because
shit.
you're under a contract where we're not allowing you to work.
They gave her the permit to come
But
here.
see, I
Yes.
think right there
Makes
they would have gone. If they did get it legalized, I think they should have sued the legal way
Yeah.
because
mean?
they signed a contract. Look, well, he
But,
just
but,
said,
but, but the problem is with being a professional wrestler, you're an independent contractor. So
Yeah.
you're under contract,
but he's still filing a 1099, right?
but here's the thing. You're filing it, so that company says we own you, but we can terminate you at any point in time. But if you try to leave us, we're going to put you in a non-complete clause.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why professional wrestlers go through a really shitty situation and they can't fight for it.
And that's where they got to have another contract where it states, if I get terminated, I need some sort of help.
Yeah, and then you know what they'll tell you?
Nope.
There's a million people in the world that we can get to do exactly what you
Yeah.
do, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
So now they're in a situation where they're fighting for citizenship. They've been in this country now for 10. They've sown roots. They have family. They're now married.
Yeah.
The only problem
Oh,
is
shit.
one's married to another Australian, one married a Canadian. So now
Mm.
Damn.
and now when they are their 90-day window is open where they can go get work. Now wherever they go get work, that job has to go and pay for sponsorship for them to work there.
Yeah.
And if those jobs turn around and say, we don't want to go through all that, that seems like a headache. Now they're going to be deported back to where they like.
That's so crazy.
And that's not
It's
even-
so sad. I don't
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
why. And I don't
It took
understand
Rusev
that
like
people don't
it took
see that as
Rusev
a problem.
Miro that he played
Yeah.
Rusev. It took him almost 8 years to get a citizenship. And then the crazy thing is the same thing that these people go like to become citizenships. If you gave that test
Oh
to
my God.
80% of
Because
Americans,
they don't know it.
they'd fail it.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, like my teacher would say, you write better than like a lot of the people, a lot of your classmates. Which
Because-
is sad because they're
Because
American
you
citizens.
Yeah.
because you probably at one age like he was saying you realize like growing up you're like oh shit like I can't go and
I knew
active
from the
full-
bat. I
yeah.
knew from the gate. Like when I first came here, I knew that I was coming in here with the lady who was pretending to be my grandmother that was basically smuggling me
Oh my god.
in the country. Like I knew from off the bat because I had to rehearse a script. I had to, practice.
Yeah.
Okay, this lady is my family member, even though she looks white as fuck. However, she spoke the language, And I mean, shout out to that lady. Thank you. I never seen her again.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you ever.
Never. I just
Wow.
remember she bought me and my younger brother. He's my older brother. My other younger brother is older by
Yeah.
2 years. But I remember she bought us McDonald's with a Happy Meal. So the toy came included. Like
Yeah.
we were happy for a little bit. We were happy for a little bit, but then we were like in the house in a random house where like a lot of illegals stayed at. And then we had to wait there. It was just me and my brother that were the only kids, and we just had to wait until my other uncles came by, picked us up, and
Oh my god.
then fly us out to Pennsylvania.
That could have been such a bad
So
It
why
is.
did you-
It was so scary.
Because you're with
So
strangers.
how did you get to
Strangers.
the scoop? Like,
Well, like that. Like she smuggled me, from the airport, and then she's like, "This is my granddaughter. This is my grandson." And then
You gotta
back then
understand
they
one thing.
didn't really need passports or
Back in the
anything.
day,
Yeah,
it was easy.
no, I mean, like, why did your family settle on
because they
Shenandoah, Pennsylvania?
because they came here, they found a friend that was already here,
Okay.
and then my dad had already been traveling out here, but he would come out to California, but then his crew, which those same people that he was out in California with that was working, in the farms in the fields.
Mhm.
Then they decided to come out here to Pennsylvania, and they were like, "Hey, it's a lot cheaper out here.
Oh, okay.
It's
You
cheaper.
know,
Makes
there's
sense, yeah.
jobs out here."
I also
Brand.
look at it as like, obviously you want to, I just look at humans, right? If you look at humans, like if I'm going to leave, right, the nest, and the nest is here and I move,
That too.
I want to
far
stay a
away.
little bit closer to my nest in case I ever have to go back, because that's your security blanket. But in a case where someone's coming here legally, you're like, I want to go further up because
Right.
I'm not as close to where they're going to be looking for me as
Exactly.
being.
Oh, okay.
If we would have stayed near the border,
Oh, forget it.
which is another reason why I was always like, how come we don't go to Texas? How come we don't go to California?
Because you're
Well,
putting
that's
yourself closer
exactly
to
why.
danger.
Yeah, you're in the radar.
Yeah.
And out here, also another thing is that
Out here, you're just another
we
Mexican.
came here for a better life. However, like my dad didn't want to be, living the city life, the
Right.
streets and all that, because we come from Mexico City,
Yeah.
one of the biggest cities in the world.
It's quiet here.
Yeah, and it's quiet here,
You don't want to draw attention either. so it's
Exactly. So it was a perfect
And there's
fit.
still
There's a
agriculture
job.
here. There's still agriculture, so you can get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we came to. That's why I say when I was working at a young age in the Frontera song, I said when I was 9, I was already working 2 years, but that was with my family, and that's because they didn't have a babysitter or somebody to take care of us here, because it was just they came here, with their immediate family, which was their children, and some of my dad's siblings and stuff like that. So when we were here, it was, we had to go with them. And luckily, we were fortunate enough that their bosses allowed the kids to, be out in the fields, because all we were really doing was just running around. But when my family seen, especially like my mom and my dad, seen that, hey, they could be, an asset, because they could help us fill the buckets up with the fruits.
Right.
So, back then they would pay you by the bucket.
And that one bucket could be an extra meal at the table.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it was. And they would always give us, like we would work, for whenever we wanted to. If I was tired, me being the girl, if I was tired, I'd just sit in the tractor and just chill, and my dad would be like, that's fine, honey,
Dude, I'd be
just-"
crying. I need SPF 450.
No, because you know what, it was so hot.
That's
and-
not even me.
but as being a child, my mom, her way of motivating us to get moving and start filling up those buckets was a competition between me and my brothers.
Yeah.
And everybody, as a matter of fact, she'd be like, let's see who fills up, because it would be a bucket. Like me being a child, I would fill up the buckets and my dad would dump them onto the tractor trailer, which was a big ass crate, like,
Yeah.
super big. Like I don't know how many adults would fit in that crate, but that was the labor, like during the sun, in the summertime, where it was like the heat was unbearable, and we're out there, bending over, basically giving your ass to the sun. And then on top of that, the males, because I was a child, I couldn't even
You'd hand it over.
be able to. Yeah, I would just fill up the buckets and they would drop them up in the tractor trailer.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I want to just ask now. What I think a lot of people would ask people was like, well, you can do the same jobs over in Mexico and get paid the same and be in the same boat.
No,
but it's not the same.
No,
It's
not
the same
at all.
That's a
Not at all. Actually, out here,
How much
even now in the
How
time,
much is a dollar right now in Mexico?
It's probably on close to 20.
20 pesos from over here makes $120 bill.
right? But what I want to know, what I want to tell them is how much they make weekly
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
Oh,
How
yeah,
much
that's
U.S.
bad, bro.
currency? Like
Oh, yeah.
how many dollars
This is
in
gonna
a week
blow your mind up.
is like $50
Yeah.
Wow.
a week.
A week.
Well, we
And there's
do-
like, are there like restrictions? Because I know like in Dominican Republic, they don't have water all the time. Like
Yeah.
they can only use water certain times. And
It actually
the lady
is,
at work
yeah.
had said that like sometimes
He
the
can
government
answer
turns
that.
it
Yeah,
on.
it
and
happens. Yeah, it
Because he's
happens.
been there earlier.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
where your
that's so
grandparents and your
sad.
parents were from,
Crazy.
did you have electricity? Like you said, there was no plumbing, so did it have electricity?
what part of Mexico are you from? Like, what is it? Is it a city? Is it?
It's like, without no traffic, 20 minutes away from the airport.
Okay.
But with traffic, 2 hours. 2 hours. Forget
Crazy.
it. You're stuck in one of those taxis or one of those buses. Your ass is gonna get fried.
It's crazy because like we went to Dominican Republic and people who go there on vacation and come back are like, man, what a beautiful fucking country. Like, why would people like want to leave that?
You don't see
And
like
then-
everything
exactly.
else.
You guys
But
do not see the
you stay on the
reality.
resort,
Right.
right? So we actually on the way in, I made it a very big point to be like, look at that club
Yeah.
right there is a resort for people who are not from here to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And right next to that club is a woman living in a shack with no electricity,
Yeah.
no water, who's literally climbing a tree. An old woman climbing a tree would knock a coconut off and shave it into like a cartoon character and sell it to a tourist for $20.
Yeah, that's exactly what many media outlets here in the United States do. They portray the good life of Mexico, but in reality, if you go to the outskirts, like the ghetto sides, the different places in Mexico, you will see why we come over here.
Mhm.
Now with the new president that's there, he's given a lot back to those that suffered through many administrations that were stealing from Mexico.
Well, a lot of administrations too were in hand with cartels.
Yes. Right now it's being proven.
Yeah.
It's being proven that many of those presidents were involved with the cartel.
Not only that, he took pensions off
The presidents.
presidents.
Yeah.
He's like, because
You stole from the country. You stole from.
what do you need a pension for?
Yeah. I mean, you could live off your farm. What do you need more for?
And he cut his pay too.
I just looked at
Wow.
like what an average senator makes in America.
Oh.
176. The average senator makes $176,000.
Okay, here's another kicker for you.
A senator.
How come none of their kids go to war?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Why are they not complaining about minimum wage?
Right.
Exactly. I've not met one that said, "Oh, my kids in the armed forces, blah blah." Maybe one. The Bushes? Maybe.
Well, Trump couldn't go to war because he had shin splints.
What about his kids? Sorry about that.
That's why he couldn't. That was he had shin splints. That's what got him out of the draft.
Trump was entertaining though. As much as like I hated him, like at the same time, like he made me laugh.
Nah,
Like I was like, are you fucking kidding?
Dude, he
like
got-
his facial expressions
Every
and everything.
president,
I was
every
like,
president
nah,
has always been like,
he got me to a point where I was gonna hang myself.
like
Fuck him.
He was at home.
like that shit. Yeah, like I was like, I don't even
The one with
know
the
how to
water.
take him
I think the
serious.
one with the water was the kicker.
No, my favorite was where he hissed. Where he hissed like a cat at the reporter.
I think it was funny how like people were more.
I just want to be clear for people watching. I hate all politicians. If you're
Yeah.
right or left, I think you're a
Oh.
scumbag.
I mean, it is what it is, but I just think it was funny how
Oh, we
people
got-
were finding so offensive.
We got somebody here.
Question?
You have to translate that.
Oh,
Hey, what's up,
saludos!
Tepos?
Shout out to
Tepos.
Jorge Tepox from La Poblanita, the radio station in
New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
Oh shit! Hi.
Saludos para Jorge Tepox y para el Sabrosito también.
That's not all what that says, right?
No, I'm
we
just giving
extended
shout
it.
out to him. And he has this cutest little boy who, when we went out there and did a show, and we also did a podcast out there with them in an interview. He had the cutest little boy, and his name is El Sabrosito, which is translated in English, it's delicious.
He named his kid Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his alias,
Yeah. Oh,
which
okay.
is so cool.
Okay.
And
He thought about
He's
it
a
for minute,
DJ.
wait a minute.
No,
He's
he's
actually-
like-
they're based in Brooklyn, New York. It's an internet radio station. You can find them in Tune app. It's called La Poblanita, New
Does he
York.
know English?
They're there.
I'm not
They hit
sure.
the
I mean,
people in
we've
English.
only spoken Spanish.
Well, to tell him that he can put his link in the chat.
Oh, Jorge Tepox acaba de decir aquí el locutor del programa Interviews with Everyday People, que en español es entrevistas con gente del diario.
Cuando tengas
Puedes
el
poner
tiempo.
el enlace en el comentario y ellos se lo comparten. Which, by the way, he said shout out to everybody out here.
That's what that means?
Yeah.
So that's saludos para todos?
Saludos.
Saludos. See, I would have said
Para
his name
todos.
is George.
Jorge.
Okay, it's yours.
We have a guy at our job named Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But it's Jesus.
Please say this. Yeah.
But it's
Like,
Jesus.
it's
I love
just,
Jesus.
but it doesn't make a difference whether it's Jesus, hey Jesus, or hey Jesus. Like, I don't think it's a difference because in
You don't like him to
Spanish
say
you would say
Jesus.
Jesus,
Yeah.
but in English it is Jesus.
Yeah,
So
I wish
what's
my
the fucking
name. I
problem?
wish my name was Jesus.
My name is Jesus.
Yeah.
Is it
Literally,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like me, like Lilia. Like they be calling me, oh, what is it? Lilia or Lilia.
Yeah.
Lilia.
I
You
still,
know?
I like being
Or Angelica.
being
I was gonna say Angelica.
Yeah, I always knew it was
Angelica.
The Rugrats.
Yeah, I always
See?
knew it was Angelica. Yeah.
Yeah, because growing up, and I was just telling, one of my friends that she was like, so I don't know. I was telling her that back in high school, people don't really know me as Lily.
Yeah.
Which is, or Lilia, which is my first name.
Yeah.
They knew me as Angelica. And when I tried to come out as Angelica, as Lilia in high school, Mrs. B, shout out to Mrs. B, my literature teacher. She was like,
who was your favorite teacher?
Mrs. Ashford, hands down.
No,
Mrs.
who's
Paisley.
Miss
Schumacher.
Paisley?
Oh, Mrs. Paisley.
Mrs.
Oh
Yeah,
shit, we
like,
got
what
three
the hell
different
you guys
teachers.
talking
Shout out to
about?
everybody.
Yeah.
All I knew was hanging
Yo,
with Mr.
shout out to all
Lopez.
the teachers from elementary school, even high school, whatever.
Where
back
Mr.
social,
Cohen, I love
Cohen.
Mr.
We
Cohen.
had a Mr. Cohen too. Damn.
Mrs. Tight, Mrs. Zinkis.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had Miss
Shout out.
Zinkis.
Me either, but I knew her because I was always in the principal's office. So she was the dean.
Yeah, she was all the
Shout
time.
out to
But once,
Mrs. Zinkis.
once I got your rap name, the Lili name, I was like, I just roll with that. But I purposely would purposely
Miss
not.
Tilly.
I wouldn't call Arson. I'd call him Tim.
Him.
Right. Which, by the way, I was just telling you off cameras that I got
actually
in my
call him
emails
Timothy.
and I found the
Timothy.
mixtape the hottest. And there was actually a track on there when I was 16, and
I want to hear it.
it's a freestyle to the Remy Mom whatever track, and from back then, like, I've been a Remy Ma fan. But anyway, so he introduced me and he's like, only 16, coming straight out from Mexico City. And I was like, oh shit. And I sound so different, because back then we were using Cool Edit Pro to
Bro.
record.
We were ghetto as hell,
Yeah, we actually had, and I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, we had a team called Three of a Kind, which consisted of my brother, which was Mexican, Cracker Jack, which was, he was white,
White kid.
and then Young Arson, which he was black.
Cracker Jack. Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Cracker Jack, shout out to everybody. Like I said, the whole old interface made productions, like,
Dude,
we
that-
were doing our thing back in the day. Like, if you hear this
we
track
were doing,
now,
we
it's
were
like,
doing parties.
And I didn't even know, like, I knew you from school, but, like, I didn't know any of this.
yeah, because that's the thing.
Dude, they threw a whole underage
Firehouse.
club.
You were there?
in Thunder
Down the
Road.
road too, yeah.
I didn't go. I
Oh,
didn't leave
we
my
used
house
to-
ever.
We used to go to Gerardville
Yeah.
in the fire company
Or
and
Monte
rent
City
that
on the
out.
third floor of the.
No,
No, the
Gilberton.
first
Well,
floor
no.
in Gilberton.
No, Monte City. You guys did the third floor. Of
That was the
old
studio.
arcade.
Yeah, the studio.
That was a studio. That was back when I was with.
No, there was a
Egg
party.
Gang.
There was a show that was done up there. It's in a condemned building now, but it was you guys had the third floor. They had a stage, and you guys did a show up there too.
Oh, I honestly don't
Yeah,
remember.
that was only a one-time thing though.
Well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Because I remember I
Yeah.
came home. I was out somewhere, and I made sure I was back in time for that show. It was dope.
Yeah, but we were active back in the day.
Yeah.
This was before the YouTube days.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up in that era. I mean, I grew up while it was transitioning in, but I wasn't used to it. I didn't even
remember
know like
we were
what to
like
do with
more
it.
like a MySpace type of
Yeah, we were
thing.
MySpace days.
So how you're the promoter?
Jackasses.
I used to be
MySpace.
my name back in the day
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
was hype,
Oh,
but we were real cool, and my E was a 3,
he tried to be gangster like me.
right?
I had that 3 and the NECIO.
Yeah. So I was my name back in the day was hype, and they would be like, "Yo, get hype," because when they would hand me the mic, or they would I would be at the shows, and I would get everyone excited for the show. So I was kind of like the Flavor Flav, the white Flavor Flav, and I would get people fired up because they would see, like, in this era, they would see the white guy go up and be like, "Hey, you guys see my friends? They fucking cool. Get it?" And then they're like, "And here comes True," and they would come out with this R&B. They would do the R&B, and then
They would kill it in
Yeah.
R&B.
and then they would turn the mics over to then Lili and Arson, who would come out and do a hip hop show. So it was a little bit of everything, and this was all being done by kids that were like in high school.
Yeah.
Right, and this was black and Mexican. So
Yeah.
back in the day, like
And
actually we experimented.
They were the only like in Monty City. They were the second black family to ever live there, and then they had Kells from
Hells,
Shenandoah.
yeah, Hells.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
we
he still
actually did. Yeah, he
Yeah?
still rap.
He still rap.
I don't know.
Last time we hanged out with him was
Yeah,
when
we gotta
did,
see him again.
Strikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But
show
but back then we even did me and Kel's brother, Young Thug.
Strikers.
Young
Um,
Thug,
shout
yeah.
out to Ryan. Yeah, we did a reggaeton song, and Arson too.
Where's
We
he
did a
at now?
reggaeton
Arson.
song.
Or Tim.
Tim.
Tim was my basketball rival.
I don't. He's around in the Hazelton
park,
area. I
Yeah,
think he
ever.
lives
We
in
played
Beach
basketball.
Mountain.
Listen, if there was a
everywhere.
hoop, we were there. We would drive all over School County. Like
Then when he moved down here to Frackville,
yeah, and his sister lived in Frackville, right, or Shenandoah?
Letitia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where.
What a
Letitia
cool
is
thing.
from.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen her.
we used to have
And
an
Letitia
R&B
used to sing
girl.
good, too.
Yeah,
Letitia.
she's in some of that mixtape that I found,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and I actually found one song with Vizcaíno from
Oh.
New Jersey.
See, here's the thing. Like, when they were doing that, I was at the cumbia. I was so into the Mexican.
Yeah, he
DJ
was in a
stuff.
whole different genre.
I was in the whole, like, that. But
You listen to tons of Spanish music.
bro.
Also,
Not
listen-
tons, but like,
Don't get me twisted. Me, I'm more like a West Coast music. Look,
Yeah, I like the East Coast.
You see Cypress Hill's coming around.
Are they?
screw him.
You
Screw
know Cypress
him.
Hill.
You want to be a rock superstar and
Nope.
live large.
Who's
No.
doing that?
He's the not me.
Oh,
That's me.
shit.
You thought it
Yo.
was me.
Nah, cause I fuck with Cypress
Yo,
Hill.
Cypress
Heavy,
Hill is the shit, bro.
heavy.
Yo,
You
you gotta listen to
Bone Thugs was Spanish, too, right?
coming
No,
up in the
Bone Thugs
world,
are-
can't
You gotta
trust
listen to-
nobody. Gotta
Are
look
they?
over
I
your
thought
shoulder.
I thought Bone Thugs was
constantly.
Spanish.
You gotta
I
listen to
remember
Sick
the
Jacket,
days when I
bro.
was a young kid
Yeah.
growing up.
Sick Jacket, that's exactly where he came out from. Cypress Hill, Cycles Brown. He came out from there.
I didn't really listen.
Nah,
Oh, Craig Henderson liked the post.
But the thing is,
Watch
look,
it.
Cypress Hill's
Talk to
coming
us,
with
Craig.
a lot
Say
of
something.
metal artists, bro. You know, Limp Bizkit's gonna be around with them.
Oh shit.
Any excuse I can get
Bro,
us
I'm-
this level.
Word,
If they're
yo,
coming around here,
Cypress
I'm
Hill?
out, bro. I'm out.
Yo, I'm trying to get in the smoke box. Like, matter of fact, be real if you're watching this, you know,
Let's get that.
Listen,
Miss
this is what-
Lili in the
Yo,
smoke box.
If
He's
Billy
watching
was
this, I'd be
actually
very
looking at
surprised.
this, or if I gets to him, drop a little tequila over your side, bro. Because I know you did a promo for my homie Daniel.
Mm.
I'm in Texas.
Oh yeah, shout out to Daniel. You know, we got a
from Cypress
we
Hill?
got a collaboration
You just-
coming through.
You just said Cypress Hill was whack. You just said
Nah.
Yeah,
I fucked with
you're like,
Cypress
but I
Hill.
want tequila from his side because I know the tequila over there is bad.
So
They respected Brian, you know.
give us a tequila. He
Nah,
doesn't.
nah, nah.
Mario gets
So
mine.
what?
Now just make sure that you actually come down with Sick Jack and Big Deuce.
Oh word, I love Sick
On
Jacket.
Cycle Round.
Didn't Cypress Hill do a
Cycle Round.
Cycle Round.
I was getting put onto them in
I keep telling
Delaware.
you guys, man.
Which
You
matter of
don't
fact-
listen to me.
Shout out to my Delaware family, you know. Shout out to
Mr.
Mr.
Capo.
302, Mr.
Mr.
Capo.
Capo.
Shout out to Chaparra Munoz. Shout out to, you know, Clever. Shout out to Clumsy. Shout out to La Morena. You know, I just met all those
Those are
people
the
and they
cholas
show
from down
love.
I would have
Yeah.
such a hard time with all the clever. I'd be alright with.
Oh, you didn't see them. You didn't see them. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but
They're
it's
dope.
the
You know,
real
all
Spanish
cholos.
names. I would
Yeah.
suck with. I would suck with the Spanish.
She's actually, you know, she's working on her rhyme game, you know.
You're getting excited.
Hell yeah, yo. Hell
Hey,
yeah.
Don't start, bro. Don't
I had
start.
a
Yo,
turn.
nah. I just came back from Delaware last weekend and they showed me the most love. Like, put it this way, it was like practically a birthday without the cake.
You want to hear how it
A
started?
birthday party.
That sounds terrible for you. You like cake.
Yeah?
I like
You wanna-
cake.
You want to hear how that started?
Yes.
Oh God. we went to Andres's tattoo part over there in Brunswick.
Shout out to Mente Blanco, the tattoo
Blanco,
shop.
bro.
They
Tattoo
actually opened,
artist?
yeah, they actually opened a tattoo shop.
Are they good?
Yeah. Yo, their artwork, bro.
Mm.
He
Amazing.
did my daughter's name.
Nice.
And that was back in the day, right?
I need more ink.
So we went over there because of an invitation that she had to perform over there, right? And as soon as we're pulling up, she's like, "Yo, I know that Cholo." I'm like, "Then which one? There's a lot."
I love the name Cholo.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I always think of gangs in jail though.
Well,
Cholos.
basically, I mean, they're not in jail, but thank God.
I'm watching a lot of 60 Days In.
Oh
So
God,
it's the
bro, you've been watching the Texas one.
the woods. The woods are the white guys.
Yeah, you've been watching that one.
And
Yeah,
even though they
watch the
sell
one in
drugs,
California.
that's
That's I told you, bro.
young
You gotta
brother
watch
love.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot of Cholo.
Oh, you gotta watch that, man. You're gonna understand our culture a whole lot better.
Yeah,
The
blood in, blood
Chicano
out.
culture.
If it's not American Me, it's a Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think where I get most of my mixing culture is professional wrestling. That's
Oh.
where I get most of
Well,
it.
yeah, well, most of them actually, they're from the hood. They're from
Well, there's
the
a guy there that's called El Gallo Negro. You know,
Yeah.
he's like a
The
Black
Black
Rooster.
Rooster.
Black Rooster. You know,
Yeah.
he's an undefeated, boxer.
And what's his name?
El Gallo Negro, the Black Rooster.
But the guy who actually played him, he's not Mexican.
You know what they used to call me at my job?
What?
They used to call me Blanco El Diablo.
Yo,
Patrick. Shout out to Patrick out in
Is that gonna
Long. What is he? Long Island. Long Island,
Is that
New
name
York.
already taken?
No,
No,
Oh.
he used to call him that too.
That's from
And he's
Ace
El
Ventura.
Diablo.
That's from Ace Ventura. That's from
Oh,
Ace Ventura too. White devil.
Yeah.
They used to, well, they'd be like, "Oh, Blanco El Diablo's here."
Oh God.
Yeah, they love me.
Oh, so
I go like this.
So we got there, right? And she's telling me, "Yo, I know that guy. I know that Cholo." So I'm like, "Which one?" So they're performing and everything.
I can hear you. Keep going.
And one thing leads to another, and we're done. Everything is done. I tell them, let's go. We're done. We're done here. Let's go. So we ate Mexican eating tacos and that's it. So then we eat. So as soon as we're not seeing this guy and his wife, we don't even know where they are. So out of nowhere, like I turn around, he's like, "Yo, Holmes!" I'm like, "Oh shit! What the fuck? I thought it was gonna be a driver or something." And him and his wife are smoking a joint in their car. They come out and they're like, "Yo."
He was smoking. His wife don't smoke.
Yeah, sure.
She told me that last week, so just putting that out there.
I'm sorry about that. So they start opening the trunk of their car. I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like,
He was rolling up. He
I'm
was
like,
rolling
I'm
up.
like, "Oh damn, what the fuck? They're gonna, give us something or what?" As long as it's not drugs, man, I'm not touching that.
Filled with t-shirts.
CDs.
Yo, she had her
Yo,
own
she got the whole
line going on with the merch.
Yo.
I was just like,
I want
Bow down
hats.
for that, bro.
hell yeah! Right off the bat, she gave us a hat. She
This
was like,
one.
for your whole team. She was like,
That's
here,
sick.
pick one out. Here, pick. Yeah, that's one of the ones.
I like the trucker hats with the mesh.
Well, yeah,
Luckily,
and this
two
one.
jackasses got the hats.
This is a Mexican. This is the Made in Mexico
Logo.
official logo. Like they see that, we know that's called Made in Mexico. So right off the
Give me
bat,
one.
it's
I
a
rock
Mexican
hats.
culture, brand. Shout out to them, Estilo Malvado.
It's on Facebook.
You
can
know?
actually get their,
I want
their
some.
merch.
Yeah, like there's this Mexican culture game that's called Loteria, which is kind of like bingo. But
Bingo.
but the actual translation is called lottery, and it's kind of like a matching game where they have like a lot of Mexican culture cards to match, and so it's like bingo, but instead of the numbers,
Like
it's
memory.
cards. Like memory, yeah, like a mix between bingo and memory. So they'll put the cards up, you get your whole little card, and you could have the beans or the chips or whatever to fill up whatever comes out, and they're like the drunk.
The borracho.
Yeah.
Then they have
I
La
have a new name.
Chalupa.
I have a new name.
Then they have the Sol. Then they have
Yeah,
the
the sun,
What's
the
the-
moon,
What's the drunk?
the
El
cactus,
borracho.
el borracho,
Yo,
which is actually a
Google it,
guy
bro.
drunk. Like
Yeah, you
that's
see
the
the-
card.
Hell, yo, watch.
So anyway, so now
I have
like
a
a
new
lot of
merch
people are
idea,
making
bro.
I have a new
That
merch
was-
idea.
yeah, a lot of people are making memes about this game from like it's been around for
For a while,
generations.
Yeah.
Every Mexican knows this game.
Yeah.
So that clothing line is basically mimicking that game, but
Or with
instead
different-
it's with different like celebrities. Like for example, they have one which I just wore the shirt the other day, and it's Selena, right?
Selena,
And it's Selena, and underneath it says
The
the
Queen.
Queen.
The queen.
because she was the queen of Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Wait. That's,
If
what-
you look,
what-
if you
what
look at
is this?
Loteria Pendejo, you see Trump.
Okay.
You see him now.
I know. Pendejo.
And also, like I got my dad this shirt. Like
type in that comment.
it's
I want to
Selena
see. I
Malvado.
want to see the drink.
Right.
You
love
would,
it.
you would like the Selena one.
Oh yeah, well, my
I
wife.
love it.
She loves
so
My
good.
wife. Anything for Salinas.
Selena and Jennifer Lopez. This
Oh
girl.
no, you said it.
And this is a local, a small
No,
business
no.
starting
She
up
should-
from
she
the
should
from the
try
bottom
Selena.
up.
Oh,
She's a
And
job.
their shit is dope as fuck.
It's-
And they hooked it up with us for real.
Yeah.
Like shout out to them. Like I said, when I got there, they had a whole banner like saying "Welcome to Vilma's," which was I was like, "What is this?" Wilma's actually, and they were like, "Oh, that's Welcome to Delaware."
Mm.
And I was like, "Yo, that's love right
See,
there."
I-
They had a whole barbecue,
Uh-huh.
like
Wow.
drinks
missed
and
it.
everything on the house.
Yeah, I missed it
He
because of
missed
the damn
it.
COVID
Yeah.
vaccine. I got vaccine,
Oh,
and
Knocked
that
her
got me. It got
Yeah.
me. It
I
got
like
me.
Yeah.
the I like the Cheech and Chong shirt.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they have a lot of like Chicano culture. You'll see that like a lot of the sugar skulls, a lot of Mexican stuff.
Dude, the Rick and Morty with the Hennessy bottle.
Yeah, you know.
Like I said, see, that's again, we go back to the same stereotype that people were saying. You know, that's hustle.
Yeah.
They're hustling.
Exactly. I
Anything
was
is
so
possible.
hyped. I got so matter of fact, I got this rosary from them as well.
Yo,
And she hooked it up for a good price.
Bro,
Yeah,
look,
those are the
look,
pants.
Again,
you know what that
The
is?
shorts.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
No,
The
that's from-
wrestling.
That's Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when we go back again for the hustle, like,
Mhm.
look at that. Like, we were blown away.
That's
Yeah.
so dope.
Exactly. That's the Frida shit.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what I respect about this girl, that she was selling her merch and
Are
we
these the
bought it.
cards?
Yeah,
it.
that's the cards.
These are
Yeah,
the
the
cards.
siren.
Oh.
Yeah.
You found them? No,
No.
that's
No, that's
no.
Real Estate.
You would actually see the borracho hanging.
He has a bottle.
in his hand.
Yeah. I think that's the funniest card. They have like the devil.
Mm.
It's kind of like
Oh,
tarot cards, but like
yeah.
lottery type bingo shit.
Yeah,
You
I
get a whole
want.
family together, bro. Like a Friday, Saturday night, you play that. You play for money.
Yeah, you play for money, and
Yo, next time you
they
go,
also
let me know. I'm
have
going with you.
That one, the borracho. Told you.
like the shirt that I bought my dad. Literally, the words that are on there is like, if you already know how I get, why do you
When you
invite
invite
me?
me,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you see a drunk person like this.
yeah, like
Dude, I want that.
You
Oh,
see?
that's a sticker. That's
No,
a
you
sticker
can
on
get the
Amazon.
shirt.
Yeah, you
They
can get
have
the shirt.
You just gotta ask it.
She makes that in shirts.
Yeah, hold up. You know what?
Hit him up right now.
I'll make a phone call right now.
Live, yeah.
Can I make a phone call?
Yeah.
Or
You have to put on speaker so that people can hear.
Yeah.
I want an El Borracho shirt.
Oh
And the
shit.
Diablo. I want a Diablo too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're really cool.
all right.
And they
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
they'll have like the Snow White or the Little Mermaid like all
Yeah.
tatted up, gangster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this
it's
is the
so
company,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
The Estilo
Estilo Malvado.
Estilo Novado.
Yo,
Tell them they're live.
yo. Are
That's
you
illegal.
high right now? Are you high right now?
See.
Yeah.
Cuando no.
Yes, you are. Listen, you're live right now. You're live right now on Facebook with
Podcast radio.
a podcast radio with interview with everybody, and well, check this
Interview
out.
with everybody.
So the guy that actually is doing the interview, he just looked at your shirt, and he wants the borracho one.
See.
He speaks English.
So I'm gonna pass him to you so he could speak to you. So remember, you're live. So
If you
Let me connect the phone.
take your time.
Now that's a real like live cholo, like dogged out, like cool as fuck though, cool as fuck. You know?
We met him up in the show in Jersey. That's where we met him.
Let me know when you're ready.
His wife is the one that is actually, you know, holding it down, hustling, selling the whole.
What's going on, man? What's your name?
My name is Couple. You can check it out. And you feel all my music, right?
Oh, so you do music too?
Yeah.
Simone.
We got to get you on the podcast,
Yeah,
man.
her man does music and he's dope. We're actually, you know, you could look forward to that collaboration. We already have it in works. He already sent me the beat, so
We're coming to the cookout, man.
Hey, man, we can make another one if you want to come through. Check the material, check out the gear, you know?
Yeah, I want, what is it called?
the borracho.
El Borracho shirt.
Oh yeah, come through, man. Come through the Wilmington, Delaware, man.
You see how he talks like that Black Friday Chico? I mean,
Yo, actually, you know what's funny?
Friday.
Next
Friday.
So
next
you know
Friday.
you know who follows me on TikTok? Baby Joker.
Oh, that little fool!
Yeah.
No more like doors.
No, the older brother.
Oh, the older one.
Yeah.
Hey, it's suspicious, huh?
I don't like doors.
oh, I don't like Black Thorns.
Yeah, I need a El Borracho and an El Diablo.
I got you, homie. I got you, man. Whenever you want to stop by.
My nickname growing up was the growing up at the job one time was as Blanco El Diablo.
Hey, man, like I said.
All right, man. Well, listen, you're on. If you want to check it out, it's called Interviews with Everyday People. You can check out the podcast. And like I said,
We're on live right now.
we're all live right now. If you want to join in and put your links in, and we'll get you we'll get you plugged. I already followed your pages on Facebook.
Well, homie, thank you, man. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate it. One love to all of you guys, man.
Absolutely, man. Have a great day.
Órale.
We have another comment.
Vale, güey.
You gotta translate again, Lili.
Thank you, man. Much love to you, man.
Tú ya sabes qué pedo, Caro.
Hola,
Hola.
saludos, Lili Sanchez.
Saludos
That's
a
hello.
Fatima Telles. Yeah, she's saying
Hello, cheers.
she's saying shout outs, you know.
Saludos,
Lili
shout out.
Sanchez.
Saludos like hi.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
But
so I think,
salud is cheers.
so I think like salud is like when you do a shot.
Salud.
Oh yeah.
It's saludos.
Well, right now, I want to say
Greetings.
my wife right now that she's at the hotel right now.
Yeah.
Daisy. I know you're still with the kids, and I'm sorry. But you know that's something that I had to say because she's been with me through thick and thin.
Not only that, like she's
That's-
part of the team.
That's my girl too.
Actually, like shout out to Daisy's Beauty Bar because she actually does the makeup, you know, for Miss Lili. Like I said, everybody plays their part, you know, and I'm blessed to have a team. And you
Well, here's what
know,
we're gonna do.
Wait, no, I've been like trying.
Go ahead.
What do you have going on right now? I
Right
feel
now,
we
what we
totally
just-
went like everywhere.
yeah, right. We just dropped a video, which is the second part to La Frontera, which is in English is called The Border. And it's called I Woke Up at 100,
Yeah.
you know, which is basically like the
You-
dream is coming
We
true.
normally do wake up at 100. You're high energy all the time.
Right, sober, right?
We walk by the Java and just fist bump her all the time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a vibe. Like, you know, I love positivity. I love, you know, being
I'm really
in a high
happy we
spirit.
reconnected again.
Yeah, definitely. Like, who would have thought, you know, when we seen each other at the job, like I'm doing rap music, you know, in Spanish, and you're out here with your podcasts, and we both came out of Schuylkill County.
I've
Like,
always
that's fucking
been
amazing.
I've always been a promoter for somebody, and in this podcast,
Right.
I want to do something for myself.
And you're doing a lot. Like,
Bro,
also,
right now, exactly what you're doing for us, bro. Like right now, this door that you just opened for us, like that's something that I've been telling them. Whoa, we gotta get the American English speaking people,
Yeah.
so they can see that we're bilinguals,
Yeah.
that we can speak your language, that we know exactly what you're going
And
through.
you're not the Diablo.
Exactly, just like
Yeah.
chingon.
And then we could all be the, how you say the drunk?
Borrachos.
Borrachos. We could all be the borrachos together.
Yeah, man. See,
Have a couple drinks, smoke whatever you want to smoke, and realize that we're all the same people.
Yeah.
Like
We're
all
we
people.
all
Yeah.
just want the same things in life. We want our kids to have a happy life. We want equal shots. We
yeah.
don't want to live in poverty. We don't want to get sick and be
Just
like,
wanna be
can
happy
we
and
get
healthy.
Yeah.
can we get healthy without it? Like we don't hate. There's no hate with anything over here.
right? Like, I don't even understand like the female against the female hate
Oh,
or
no,
the
I hate
the
that.
whole race. And there's a lot of like own Latinos
Yeah.
that are against other Latinos.
Exactly.
You know, they forget where they come from.
Oh
They
my
come here,
God.
they get their papers, and it's like, oh, you know, you illegals. Like, what? You were in the same. You were in the same
situation.
That happens
position.
a lot. To see
They think they're better than you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That-
what?
that's our country. Like
Yeah.
when white people get a little bit of money, or
Oh, God.
any culture get a little bit of money, they forget where they came from
Right.
with the poverty.
I feel like everyone here is kind of for themselves, and
Yeah.
that's not. It's
Not
not helpful to
It
anybody.
shouldn't be that
Right?
way.
No,
Right.
you shouldn't, because
Right.
at the end of the day, like
We're
you
all
have
in it
to
together.
exactly. You have to remember who helped you,
Right.
when, how,
Yeah.
and who was it. Because I'm the kind of believer that if I help somebody right now, you might not know 5-6 years from now that same person that you help
Mhm.
is gonna help you.
Exactly. You
You
never
know?
know who's gonna be where tomorrow.
Exactly.
And
You
that's
could be
another
here.
yeah, and
Wow,
that's
word.
another thing that like I want to give a shout out also to a lot of people that have opened up the doors, you know, for us as you know, as aspiring artists, and just to give us publicity and all. And they're actually having our songs on rotation out in Brooklyn. New York. Shout out to La Poblanita, the radio station. Shout out to Javi Vidal. Shout out to Arturo Mastal with
These are all awesome
La
names.
Rumberita.
with La Rumberita. Shout out to La Morena. Shout out to DJ Javi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jorge Fox. And shout out to the person that also we were with last week as
Oh,
well
yeah, Jasmine.
in Woodbridge, New
Is there-
Jersey.
is there any-
Woodbridge.
Is there any
Woodbridge.
female rapper out that rocks La Llorona?
La Llorona.
That needs to be a thing.
Not yet. But don't be too hype, because you might even be in the works with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to all the people that are out there, putting us on the map. Shout out to Snow the Product. Shout out
Yeah.
to Santa Fake Land. Shout out to Rancho Humilde. Shout out to El Alemán. We're open. Shout out to Alberto Pedraza. Out in the cumbia genre. We're open to working, and that's one of our goals. We want to get out there. We know that, like I said, there's not a lot of people that are actually exposed out there. Shout out to Ezequiel, also Escuelas de la Calle. Shout out to Lili Baez. Shout out to Lluvia Arámbula.
We're making moves.
Shout out
slowly, but we're
to
gonna
Jay
do that.
Rivera, that also is doing his thing from New Jersey as well, also a DACA recipient.
But at the end of the day, like, we have to have our feet in the floor.
Yeah.
We
Well,
cannot be in a cloud like
No.
many of the artists. They made it already.
Right.
Most of them say that they're humble, that they're willing to to help others, but in reality they're not, because they're stuck with the money
Yeah.
situation up here. Like, bro, come down like 2 or 3 levels down and remember where you came from.
Yeah.
Because again, we go back to the same thing about having your feet on the floor.
I look at it like this: when you build a foundation, and the Mexican culture is built on a strong foundation of hard work ethic, and then when you guys get to that point where you get the opportunity to go to a different level, but keep that same work ethic, no matter what you do going forward, if that's based in your roots and your blood and your work ethic, you're going to dominate.
Oh, yeah.
And every single person at the table has that strong work ethic, and you're not going to be stopped.
Right. And like I said, I'm more than grateful, to have a team that helps me out, because as an independent artist, it's hard to do things by yourself.
I run 5 social medias for 5 different.
I know,
podcasts.
and that's one of the things that I was saying. I was pointing out to Mario, like, he has a whole wrestling podcast. He has a beer podcast. He used to have the Illusions.
Yeah, I killed 2 shows. I couldn't do it no more. It was too
Yeah,
much.
but interviews with everyday people, which is putting on locals, on the daily, which is fucking amazing, because we come from a place where there really is nothing else around,
Right.
and you're
And
putting
no
us out on the
support.
map. Exactly. There's no support, and that's one of the things that we're bringing to the table, which is we're willing to support you guys as well. Like,
Yeah, I'm just happy you're bringing it to another culture, because
Yeah.
a lot of people who listen to my show, my probably demographic is just majority white. But if people can listen to this and hear other people's stories, because I want the door to be open for other people and have these conversations.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Grizzly Exteriors,
Oh yes.
Ricardo Chagoya roofing company in Shenandoah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be fixing our back roof soon.
Well,
You know.
eventually.
Oh, you're gonna have Christian up there.
Probably.
I'm gonna be kicking soccer balls out.
No,
Yeah,
but
shout out to them though.
yeah.
You need gutters, siding, roof. Everything gets done one day.
I think they put on like 3 roofs in our block.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did across the street.
He parked in front of my house. I said, "Get that piece of shit out of here."
Oh shit! See, and that's the thing that again, we're bilingual.
Yeah.
And we're bringing that mentality here. We did it already with the Mexican American, the Hispanic community already. We did it already.
Yeah.
There, again, the doors that we had once shut for us, because I think it's like this is what we're doing right now is like a redemption of what we had, what we could have had.
Yeah.
But that door was closed to us. But now that this is going on, I think this is a second chance. But we're already experienced of what we were going through. We're not going to deal with the same situations that we dealt back in the day, the same problems that we had back in the day, because now we're more, you can say, more experienced on the media, the interviews, the facts. All we got to do is just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
We said it in the last podcast. We said growing up, we can just speak from our immediate culture, Monte City, Shenandoah kids, where for the longest time it was that stigma of like, oh, they're coming in, they're ruining our town. But our town wasn't great to begin with. But if you drive down the main street of Shenandoah, or you drive down the main street of Hazleton, or most of these small towns where they are impoverished communities, if you look at the local business that's taking over these buildings and actually putting business back into these buildings that were once, like, there's buildings in Shenandoah that I can legit remember since I'm a young kid that building had no use. It was sitting there empty. It was destroyed. There was no purpose to it being there. It was an eyesore.
And now who's
And now
actually
remodel it?
now it's a Mexican business, and it's providing goods, or it's providing
I think
anything.
I think the message next time that somebody like that has that mentality, maybe it might work, it might not. What I'm about to say. Next time somebody says something negative like that, think about what you eat.
Yeah.
Think about that plate that you have in your hand. Think about that salad. Think about that burger. Think about those clothes.
That water. That water.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Who touched it first?
That labor is probably Mexican labor.
Exactly. Think about that. I'm not trying to, sound racist or anything, but just
No, it's taking pride in your people.
think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Or back in my day, as they used to tell me, you're a wetback. That's a strong, negative word to say. You know what was my response? Well, last time I checked, your ancestors came on a boat called the Mayflower. I mean, you guys are the ones that are wet, not us.
Yeah.
So
and I think the overall thing here, I'm sorry to cut you off, is you have to realize, like, and this is just for speaking to my audience and the people listening, is people of color or people of different cultures are treated with racism and disrespect, and when their come up isn't to be, well, you treated us with hate, we're going to give hate back, and that no one at this table is saying that we want to be better and then squash you. That's not. They want to be on the same playing field. And that's all people want. They don't want to be better than anyone else. They legit just want to have a fair share.
And we go back to where I was in immigration with the getting my my residency. The guy actually looked at me in YouTube and found me.
Oh yeah.
He found me playing the instrument. He found me and he laughed because everything that I was telling him was true. So what freaked me out more was when he said, well, I got two things that I got to tell you. One bad and one is good. As soon as he said that, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
That's the bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, well, give me the bad. He's like, well, unfortunately, I can't take the picture for you today. But the good news is that, I'm going to grant you a residency.
The bad news is my camera's broken.
Yeah, exactly, bro. He said those exact words. I'm like, I wanted to pee on myself.
I'm like, yeah, you could have fucking.
I wanted to curse them out. But then the funniest thing happened. I go out, and then there's a gay couple, right? And I'm hearing him, like, on this side, yelling at him. I told you to get a translator. You cannot do a translator. Like, yo, Mario, what? Can you translate?
So you help somebody else out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's up to you how much you want to charge. I'm like, why? He's like, well, it starts from $100 to $500 an hour.
To be a translator?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, working with immigration inside the building.
Oh.
But again, I'm striving to become an immigration lawyer.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm trying to do that.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that, but again, financially, I'm married, so I gotta worry about my family first.
You will help so many people out,
bro.
And
I helped a lot of dreamers out. A lot. I'm telling you, I'm gonna help a lot. I'm helping her out right now. I'm helping him out at the same time. But again, when the parole officer said that to me, that still stuck in my head. He's like, listen, you're bilingual. You're gonna become a legal resident. You're gonna have more doors opening for you. I suggest you go back to school, either become the lawyer or become a translator.
Yeah.
And you're gonna help a lot of people.
I think that's a general fear of people. I'm not saying this to bring anyone down or say anyone's less, but I think that's the general fear of white America, is that the fact that we are becoming this big cultural differences where people are there, and then you have these people who are bilingual. Like if you go, and this is not just an American thing.
No.
You go to France, if you speak French and English,
yeah.
If you go to anything in Europe and you know more than one language, you are more valuable to your culture.
You're a big asset.
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, I think if you take time out to know two languages, you should get paid more than one.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and that's what we're bringing, that positive message to everybody. Because when we go to Mexico, many people don't know this. When we go to Mexico, when they get a chance to go to Mexico, they gotta be more Mexican over there. when we're over here, we gotta prove to you guys that we belong here because we know the history.
Like the Selena movie. We gotta
Exactly.
be more,
Yeah,
out here
exactly.
they expect you to be, because we're Mexican American, and out there they want you to be more Mexican than the
Exactly.
Mexican. Out here more American than the American.
So we gotta work twice as hard.
Exactly.
I did a social experiment at my job one time.
No way.
Where I think I told you this
Yeah,
before.
you got them high again?
Where I brought.
You got them high? Is that what you
No, we were all talking race at work, and it was me, a black dude, and a Puerto Rican and a Dominican. And they're like, oh, white people are the racist people. And I said, I think every culture has racism.
Everyone.
Yes.
Everyone.
Racist, yeah.
Like there's a term out there. It's like you can only be racist if you're white. And I was like, I kind of disagree. And they say I don't agree with you. So I brought over, and I'm sorry that it came at the expense of one culture, but I brought over a Dominican guy. And I said, yo, let's just say Jose. I said, Jose, you're Puerto. And he was Dominican. I said, you're Puerto Rican, right? He goes, no, I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm Dominican. I said, oh, my bad. He goes, no, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I'm like, stay here. And I called over another person. We'll just say, just to be funny, his name was also Jose. And Jose was Puerto Rican. And I said, you're Dominican, right? And he goes, no, I'm Puerto Rican. And I'm like, no big deal. So I called over Jose number 3. And he was also Puerto Rican. And I said, you're Mexican, right? And he goes, yeah, fuck you, man. And I was like, but only white people are racist?
Ah, busted right there.
And then I kind of showed 3 different cultures of Dominican, Hispanic, and Black, that you all look down on the Mexicans.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I was like, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I guess because like Puerto Ricans are part of the United States,
Yeah.
so they're citizens.
But it's
off the bat.
all all that culture you're brought up to not
Right.
like another
There's-
thing.
Well,
in the
nobody
Asian
likes to
culture,
get
No, listen,
confused.
there's a
Yeah.
famous quote that I put attention to a lot. I forgot which documentary it was that it was also in Vice. It was it said, you are not brought up being racist.
It's taught.
It's taught.
Yeah, it's a taught culture.
It's taught. You're taught to be racist,
Mhm.
and that right there is sad.
A lot of the times
It's
it's
sad.
fear,
Not
because
only that,
they don't know what it is to, how do you say, ¿cómo se dice convivir?
family joint situation.
You don't know how to be with another culture, how to
Mhm.
mesh, how to vibe, basically.
mingle.
It's just like
Mingle.
I don't know if you've seen the movie the movie with Jackie Robinson, 42.
Yeah.
When he was brought out to the Major League Baseball, he was the only black,
Mhm.
playing, and you seen the young kid, he didn't know what was going on, but he heard what everybody else was calling him,
Yeah.
being racist,
And he just
and he just
suit.
followed through
Right.
because he didn't know what was going on, so he just wanted to fit in with what the
Yeah.
people were saying,
Yeah.
and that's where everything starts.
That's why I said, like,
Right.
I'm very fortunate, man. Like growing up, that I had the wherewithal, just being thankful for my parents. Like
Mhm.
they taught me to accept everybody, even though it maybe at some points in time didn't maybe do the same things. You know what I mean? I would say, I don't want to put any parent under the bus, but I have one parent who's a little more open than the other. But like I was fortunate enough to go to like a whole black family and learn and understand their culture, and then a Mexican culture, and then Dominican, and I feel like I can, like, we can all do that, like just be willing to go to each other's cultures and
I think
experience.
it's
And
so cool to like learn about other people's
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
And I don't understand why people don't
Try other
like,
foods.
Yes. Oh, I'm all about food.
Listen to the
Anybody's food.
music.
speaking of foods, while we're wrapping up here, someone Google and see if they're still open in Cheney, so we can go there.
Not, not only that, look, I've been listening to a lot of Arabic music, bro.
Oh, the dude at the gas station. Every time I go there, I
I
said,
love
what
their
song is
music,
this?
bro.
And,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because if I go to the gas station, he's Indian and he listens to the. When I do this, I'm not making like like that's how it all sounds.
We tried to
But-
ask them what
And
it's
with
called.
Palestinian is a traditional dance that they use for like their weddings,
Yes,
bro. That is the
That's
way they
so
dance it.
cool.
Oh my god!
but the
bro.
fact that I
And like they're
asked
so
him,
colorful.
Yeah.
They all got colors and stuff.
but the fact I
It's so
stopped and it wasn't just an exchange for I want my iced tea or I want my thing. I stopped and asked him about his culture and asked him what his music was and what it was and had to look it up. I left there and every time I go there now, he's more open-minded to who I am as a person and not just looking at me as who I, you know what I mean? So we have a different connection to each other because I stopped and asked him about his culture.
Right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that's very important for people to do. like
Yeah.
learn about each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, regardless of what skin tone you are, or anything like that, we all want the same thing, man. We just want a fair shake at life.
Yeah, and
No.
you might like it. You might enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, she comes home every day. Well, she listens to a lot of like Spanish rap. Like she's
I
gonna
try.
listen.
Well, I hear it like on the radio. And I
She
find
likes
it,
to-
but
She's
You know,
such a private-
they're gonna have somebody come here at the, I think it was Santander in
Oh.
Reading.
okay.
Okay.
He's really, really big right now. His name is Raul Alejandro.
I'm not sure.
He has a lot of remixes that he's doing in Spanish, bro. People sold out already in Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
cool.
I'm like, and he does collabs where he did a song where I think Bad Bunny.
Oh,
and all of them.
yeah.
Bad Bunny blew
I
up,
like
and then,
Bad Bunny,
he, and then
yeah.
he brought his culture to professional wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now he's a wrestler.
He was like no wait, did we talk about this last time? Is he the first?
He's the first. He's the first
on Rolling
Latin artist to
Stone
me
or
in the
something
cover of
like that?
Rolling Stones.
He's just like
Mm.
artist sing, but like the first Latin American.
No.
No.
And not only that, he's the only.
Well, he was the first
The
on
only
Rolling
one-
Stones.
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's the only Puerto Rican that does that type of genre of music, like the reggaeton type of thing, that does actually a collaboration with a Mexican artist that is doing like the genre is corridos, tumbados, that he's like, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
Found them out, blew up, and they came.
Which
they
is
made-
like guitar country
Yeah.
Mexican music.
and he actually looked up, and it's called Soy el Diablo. I'm like, yo, I like that. So he
The
looked
Diablo's
up.
in and I'm about it.
Yeah, basically.
My favorite growing up, I hear him play guitar and I fall in love. It's Carlos Santana.
Carlos
Oh, yeah.
Santana,
he's-
love
He's,
him
he's,
too.
he's gonna be on tour.
He's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another one. He'll literally with his guitar and his ability.
Exactly.
He's never sung a lyric of a song.
It's the
Just
feeling that he
so
puts his
good.
passion
Remember
into the
that
music.
song that he did, Maria?
Yeah.
It's your
Oh,
Night
God.
West Side
With
Story.
Wyclef,
Spanish
yeah.
Harlem.
Oh, they're close.
And then he did
They
some with
close
Rob
at 9.
Santana. They close at 9.
Matchbox 20.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Rob
Yeah.
Santana. But
He did one with like Vanessa Carlton too.
he's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
DJ Khaled just did the remix with Rihanna.
Rihanna, yeah.
But just that's cultures blending together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love
And
that.
making this thing that brings us all together, which is entertainment, pop culture, and music.
So you just wish that could be just like in general.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
normal, like
just
it's
like
normal.
the norm.
Yeah.
If we can do that without having the music to be the influence, just like
Yeah.
to get together as people in general.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I love all different types of genre.
Mhm.
Like I love metal, I love rock, I love pop. You know, I
I have a
love
hard time with
Latino.
country, which is crazy to say.
Latino pop. I like reggaeton. I like corridos. Like there's really not a lot that I
What
don't
was the
even
last
like.
you said?
Corridos.
Corridos?
That's like a
Okay.
Spanish country type.
It sounds like you're saying Doritos.
Nah.
He's hungry already.
I like the
I'm
readers.
starving.
Yeah, and shout out to Elsa G. Perez, you know, shout out to Mom Dukes, you know, she's out here
Yeah, shout out
commenting,
moms.
you know, from Manoy City.
Shout out Pops.
Well, she's in Manoy City. She's from Mexico City, you know, from Tepito, el barrio.
I got it.
I like how you did
Yeah.
this. I like that. Give your last plugs. What do you want to plug?
You know, shout out, you know, check out the YouTube ms.lili
It's
official
below.
page. You know, we're gonna put the link on the comments, matter of fact, so you guys can check out the
The
latest
music
video, Amanecí al 100, and look out also for the new video, which is Muchos, you know, no me conocen. You know, we're about to pull up for anybody that wants to pull up. We don't know the location yet, you know, but we're thinking Delaware.
Yeah, Delaware seems like the place to be.
You know, Delaware's been showing a lot of love, you know, shout outs to Delaware.
When I think Delaware, I don't think
The tri-state.
like Spanish
Bro,
community.
no.
It's awesome.
You're gonna.
Dude, I'm gonna sign me up. Just don't get me killed.
No, you're good with us.
You're with us, yeah.
Listen, I've been in some neighborhoods. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been around, you know, you've hung out with your.
Yeah, I don't get like I love when I meet other and I'm like, you went to what neighborhood? I was like, if you don't go looking for problems, you're not gonna find
Yeah.
any. Like you,
Or if you're with people that are from the
Are from the
area.
lane.
also.
like I listen, if you walk down the wrong street in Monty City at 3 a.m, you're
Seriously,
you're in a
yeah.
bad spot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter what color the person is, you're just probably not in a good spot because
Right.
people in that area are probably looking for trouble.
In
Like,
certain cities, like I was out in Compton and I didn't even know I was out there in California. And they were like, you can't wear, you know, certain colors out here. And I was like, oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I was about to wear like a full-on red jersey outfit,
Oh no.
you know?
that's not
Yeah.
like being a Washington
Uh-oh.
fan walking around Philly.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I do every time I'm in Philly? I buy a brand new.
I don't even want to know.
I go to Lids. And I buy a brand new Washington hat and I wear it around town. I actually just drove through Philly to get to Atlantic City last weekend, and on the way through, I went, "Everyone, look to your left. That's the world's largest toilet bowl."
Oh hell no!
Lincoln Financial. Yeah.
Jackass.
This is the only part of the show that gets hateful, is when we talk sports things.
Yeah.
Christian, what do you got?
I just want to thank everybody that was here listening. Wait for the new come up. We got a lot of features coming along with different people. Want to give a shout out to Lili that's in Texas. Soon, a feature with her. We got another feature from my boy Phil Sakiel from Nevada. You know, that's something different that he's doing. Shout out to him. Yo, he actually liked
Dope
the
music.
song La Frontera. Yo, he says, yo, I actually told him, yo, let's link up and do something. He's like, yeah, bro, let's do it.
Where's he
You know,
from?
Nevada. So
Oh,
we're gonna
crap, you guys
go-
are getting all over the place.
Mhm.
You're going to be working with
Shout out to
someone in each
Mr.
state.
Capo. Shout out to
Yeah.
the 302.
Mr.
You know,
Capo.
Chaparra Munoz. Yeah, out
That's
in
not like the Capo, right?
out in
Crazy,
in
bro.
Delaware.
We sitting here right now.
That's another feature coming along.
I actually watched the whole show on that. The whole show is in Spanish,
Yeah.
and it was like a really cool doc of this guy who, like, I guess he was undercover, like he was like almost like a Donnie Brasco, where he was like undercover, but he was helping Chapo.
Mm.
It's kind of weird. It was a cool show. Not cool, but it was a very.
You seen his Guzman's wife just got caught.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She's gonna get sentenced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll just like they'll drop. Dude, his escapes have been fucking unbelievable.
How did he
Just,
do
like,
it, bro?
a helicopter drops in, he just jumps in. Like, he's in prison, a helicopter drops, he gets in and just flies away. It's like, you are a goddamn gangster.
I don't know, bro, how they do it.
Money.
Money.
Money, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy because, like, who's the not Castro? Is it no? Maybe it's Castro. Where depending on who you ask and where the country is, like outside the country, he's this giant villain. But if you ask people inside the country, it's like he built all these houses for people to live in. You know what I mean? It's really it's
He
a
did a
weird,
lot for the community. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than the government.
I mean, listen. Also, he'd kill you if you stepped out of line, but
Mhm.
he also helped like got rid of like homeless problems and stuff.
Right.
Too. It's a weird, it's
Right.
a double-edged sword.
The people
that's why
out there
people love them.
love him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, because Chapo Guzman actually was giving back to like people that needed something to eat. Like
Yeah.
he would send out his people. He's like, "Yo, give out to everybody this is whatever they need. That's it." That's why a lot of people like him.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, the government ain't doing this shit for us, and you are doing something for
Yeah.
us. You know, why not be backing you up?
Yeah.
You know, like they would whistle if they see something like the cops near or whatever. They already knew what was going on.
Oh, is it the agua, right?
What?
That's what I learned in my job. When Spanish people yell agua, that means like there's a
Agua.
bus coming.
Yeah, I was.
So,
Watch out. Watch
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were saying agua.
No,
No, you gotta add the S. Aguas.
Aguas. That's
Well,
why-
also, agua means waters.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they yell that, and instead of yelling like policia, because the
Policia,
police,
yeah.
the police learn
Oh,
that means police.
policia.
Like they changed the word.
Or you think you do the slangs that they use.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, like they do a
The
la
call,
tira.
the call.
La
La
tira
tira.
means
Police.
police in a slang word.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. The job. Aguas. And they're like,
Like,
how do you know
like,
that? I like going up to people when they're talking. I'm just like, see, and they go, you know? I go, no, no, not at all. There's a girl at the job who was wearing a Shenandoah Valley volleyball shirt the other day. In picking. Well, in the department we are in. Yeah.
You know, she used to play volleyball.
Yeah. So it's changed.
Yeah.
I played volleyball for
Yeah,
a little
right.
bit. I didn't get in the team, you know, because I was working in the fields and I missed the start date. And when
Yeah.
I came, the
She
teacher
takes
was
it
like,
super
"No."
serious. Like that's like her shit.
I used to play basketball too
Yeah.
when I was younger,
I'm not coordinated.
and I used to play soccer.
Mhm.
I'm not proud of this, but I joined specifically to kick girls in the shins.
How do you told me like when we first like we started? She was, you saying out with Lili? I was like, yeah, like we were close. She scared me.
Aw.
She was always
She was
Unfortunately,
badass. She was like, don't mess with her.
Unfortunately, you know, back in the day, I dealt with
I think
a lot
one of your
racism.
friends were gonna beat her up one time.
Nah, not at all. Not
I
at
don't know
all.
if they were friends. It was just some other girl. Like,
Yeah, see, people see me like associate myself with the other Latin girls, and they would think that like I was in charge of them, or yeah, like
But
I got
oh,
approached
dang,
by
The
other people.
littles got that too. They're like, oh, you
Yeah.
guys related to that family? You're like, we don't even know each
And
other.
I'm like, no, I don't control anybody. You know, everybody.
I liked it.
does
I
their
thought you
own
were, but I was like, I'm not gonna.
thing. Yeah, I liked you too. You know, you were quiet.
Yeah.
I was quiet
God, I
too.
wish he
You
still
are
was quiet.
Aw.
Mario, what do you got to plug, brother?
Well, let's see. No, just everything that we were just said. Thank you for the opportunity that
This platform door is always open.
Thank you very much. Like I said, the message that we bring to everybody through this podcast is that we're different. We have something positive to bring to the table, and the music industry. Like I said, listen to what's coming up. Hopefully this is an eye opening to the white America that is out there. The DACA recipients that are out there. Be ready for what's coming, because path to citizenship is coming. It's coming. Hopefully, everything that's being said on paper gets signed, gets done
from the Biden.
from the Biden administration. Hopefully,
From the old Sleepy Joe.
there you go. There you go. And let's see. Only God knows where this is going to take us, but it looks good.
Just,
Yeah.
and if you're extreme right, just imagine if they legalized all the people in our
Oh
country.
my God.
Bro, how much more taxes we're gonna pay?
Bro.
And that's gonna help us, right?
No, listen. That's what people don't
They'll
understand.
fix our roads, bro.
Listen,
No, no.
man,
You guys are all
Not
gonna
in
pay
Pennsylvania.
taxes. All you got, all the Hispanics are gonna come and pay taxes.
We already pay
yeah,
taxes.
we
And
pay
then-
more taxes than you guys.
Yeah. And then senators are gonna go from $176,000 a year
More.
To like
to 340.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, their pay's
Oh, yeah,
gonna
you know,
increase.
yeah.
Well,
Ours will also.
they're gonna bring everyone in, give them all legal citizenship, and then the rich people are gonna make more money.
Yeah.
It's gonna be beautiful, and
Yeah.
we're all gonna stay poor.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, wait a second,
Who
I
did
thought-
that?
I thought this is all gonna change things. And no, you're still getting fucked.
Yeah.
Shout out to David Sanchez, which is my pops. He just logged in, and he's over here giving shout outs to us. So shout out to you out in Monroe City as well. Shout out to David Anthony, Ruben Sanchez,
Hi, I don't know if you remember
Gianni,
me.
Isabella, Lorraine.
We watched
Shout out to
Telemundo.
everybody, the whole family.
we gotta hurry up. 'cause I
Saludos
have to fly
allá
back to the
en
kids.
Tlalnepantla,
Oh, yeah.
México, Mexico City, a toda la familia allá en México. Saludos a todos los que nos están viendo y nos
If
están
this
escuchando.
listen
Gracias por el
Giving
amor.
her a shout out to her family.
We have mad love
We have
for
a
the
big
La
family.
Familia.
Tengo una familia grande. No se metan con nosotros.
He's like, what the hell?
She said large family. I
Large
know,
family, don't mess with us.
So, again, thank you again for giving us this platform. Again, we're bringing another big video coming up. Be on the lookout for that. Hopefully next time you guys actually go to Jersey. We don't know that yet.
Let me know.
And-
Tell me the date we'll go.
Yeah, thanks for coming and
Yeah, no.
talking to us.
Thank you guys for
Hopefully-
having us.
Yeah, hopefully my mother doesn't
Again.
kick my ass when we get to the hotel, because I keep telling her we're gonna go eat, but now it's too
We won't
late,
see
so-
him again. He's gonna be dead.
No,
We'll
no.
murder
find
him.
somewhere to eat.
We're gonna go murder him.
Definitely.
Where's the hotel?
Hazelton.
Hazelton.
Oh, you have kids. We can't go to Humboldt Tap.
Oh, the tab.
No, I think your parents got something at home, no?
Yeah, they got
If
If you
something
guys
out there.
want to come down.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, we'll figure something
Oh,
out.
yeah.
You want to keep drinking Modelo?
Yeah,
I got some
I
authentic
got-
Mexican food.
I got Modelo at the house.
Wow.
bro.
Hey, there you go.
Sold.
You can be my
Ah!
Got Modelo, Stella Artois, Corona.
Let's do it.
meet the makeup artist of Miss
Yeah.
Lili.
Yeah.
She also does permanent makeup,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
eyeliner,
Oh,
Tattoos.
cool.
Microblading.
lip microblading for eyelashes, also eyelashes, eyebrows. She does it all.
Should clean me up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man.
If you are watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out the links below. Show them that support. If you have more support to give, make sure to check out our links. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube is where we're struggling. We need to get some more views over there, as well as merchandise. If you get a T-shirt with my silly face on it, wear it, take a picture of it, send it to us, and we'll give you a shout out back. Like I said, the Patreon is there for $1 or $5 if you want to support. The more we get support, the more I can use my equipment to help others. We were talking about maybe using some of this equipment to help you shoot a music video if need be. So like everything I have literally goes back to help somebody else, whether it be in the pro wrestling community or the music or whatever I can do. So thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for coming. Bringing together culture is very important to me, and bringing together people in general. And that's what we try to do here. We bring perspectives from everyday people, and that's what we try to accomplish. So we'll see you guys next time. If my mouse works, I try to always time this and I always fuck it up. But here's some music from Steve Fulton. See you guys next time.
All right, guys.
Sorry for being sorry all of the time.